My name is Mary Elizabeth Williams. I'm a writer and a mother of two and a New Yorker and a runner. And I am a person who can happily say had cancer, had stage 4 cancer. I was washing my hair and I felt a little tiny nub on my head, just a little bump. I went to the dermatologist and said, I'd like you to take a look at this. And she said, that looks like skin cancer. The idea was that we got it, and the hope was that we got it. And for a while, that seemed to be how it was working. When I got the re-diagnosis, it just makes you angry in a way that I think getting it the first time didn't. And it feels so like a betrayal in a different way. It was right at the beginning of the school year. And I remember being really afraid that I wasn't going to be there in June. And my younger daughter said, "Are you going to die?" And I said, I'm going to try really hard not to.
Immunotherapy is different because it doesn't necessarily target the cancer cell itself directly. Immunotherapy targets immune cells.
It takes your body's own defense system, your immune system, and it utilizes that to recognize and kill cancer.
In the clinical trial that Mary Elizabeth participated in, we were evaluating 2 immunotherapy medicines. One of them we had been testing for quite some time, the other was a new one. And we had several simple questions that we wanted to answer. The first was, is it safe to give these 2 medicines together?
I've had doctors say to me, you know that in phase 1s we really expect a lot of losses. So was I leaping up and down and going, now it's all going to work out? No, I was completely terrified. But I also had the hope that this was my best shot.
When Mary Elizabeth started the clinical trial, she had melanoma that had spread to an area under the skin of her back, a bump that she could feel. When she was treated the first time, the treatment went well. She came back for the second treatment 3 weeks later, and she greeted us with the news that, hey, I think that thing on my back is smaller.
I'll never forget it. He called the nurse over, and he said, well, that's neat.
It was significantly smaller, and that tumor on her back getting smaller and eventually going away was a very good indicator of what was also going on inside the lungs.
My phone rang. It was my doctor, and he said, I have your results. And he said, I don't want to keep you in suspense. He said, your scans were clear.
And to have that on the first set of scans was extraordinary.
It was surreal. It's not the moment where you jump up and down in ecstasy. It's the way you feel when you're standing in front of the Grand Canyon.
Without people participating in clinical research trials, we will never make progress. The waiting room is full of people receiving standard treatment as a result of her being in that clinical trial.
You know, I remember a doctor saying to me, you know, there's always something we can do. We can't always save people's lives, but it means that we always have choices. And that's what I've tried to model for my children, and that's what I hope that they get out of this, is that there's always something that you can do and that you should be the person who makes that choice.